Imagine waking up tomorrow morning in this year of 2026 and realizing that for the first time in your life, the weight on your chest is gone. It is not because you won the lottery or because you suddenly moved into a mansion. It is something much more subtle, yet far more powerful. It is the quiet realization that you are finally in control of your time and your money is doing the heavy lifting for you. Most people spend their entire lives playing defense, constantly reacting to bills, inflation, and the fear of running out of savings. But there is a specific point where everything flips, a point where you stop chasing dollars and start protecting the system you have built. Today, we are going to walk through the exact psychological shift that happens as you cross the three most important milestones in your financial journey. We are talking about the journey from your first $100,000 to $500,000 and finally to the $1 million mark. If you are currently in your 50s or 60s, this is the most critical map you will ever look at. Before we dive into the data from the Federal Reserve and the actual mechanics of this shift, I have a small favor to ask. If you value honest, research-backed financial analysis that helps you find peace of mind, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us reach more people who are trying to navigate these uncertain times in 2026. Also, leave a comment below and let me know which financial milestone you are currently working toward. I read every single one of them. Now, let us look at the reality of where most people stand today. According to the latest data, the typical household approaching retirement at age 62 has between $185,000 and $200,000 in their retirement accounts. While that sounds like a decent start, for many, it feels like they are standing on thin ice. The reason is that they have spent decades trading their hours for paychecks, and they have not yet seen the magic of money growing on its own. Think back to when you had nothing invested. Every single unexpected expense felt like a personal attack on your survival. A flat tire, a $500 medical bill, or a slight increase in your monthly utility costs could ruin your entire month. You were frustrated, anxious, and exhausted because your stability depended on nothing ever going wrong. But the moment you start building your first $100,000, that dynamic begins to change. Many experts, including the legendary Charlie Munger, have said that the first $100,000 is the hardest part of the entire journey. It is grueling because at this stage, your contributions are doing almost all of the work. If you have $10,000 and the market grows by 10%, you only make $1,000. That is not enough to change your life or pay your rent. You still have to get up every morning, answer to a boss, and save every penny you can. This stage is about building the habit and the discipline. It is about learning how to live on less than you earn and ignoring the pressure to keep up with your neighbors. The first $100,000 is essentially you proving to yourself that you can win this game. But once you cross that six-figure mark, something strange happens. The numbers on the screen start to move in ways you can actually feel. Suddenly, a 1% move in the market means your net worth changes by $1,000 in a single day. That is the cost of a nice vacation or a major appliance, and you did not have to work a single hour for it. At first, this might feel uncomfortable or even scary. You might find yourself checking your balance every hour when the market is volatile. But as you get used to it, the first mental shift occurs. You realize that wealth is not just about what you earn, but about creating an engine that runs while you sleep. Now, let us move to the second and perhaps most important tipping point, $500,000. In this year of 2026, with the current cost of living, $500,000 is where many people finally start to breathe. Using the widely accepted 4% safe withdrawal rate, a $500,000 portfolio can generate $20,000 in annual income. When you combine that with the average Social Security benefit of about $23,000 per year, you are looking at a total income of $43,000. For a single person or a couple with a paid-off mortgage, this is the point where the fear of becoming a burden to your children begins to evaporate. At $500,000, your money is no longer just along for the ride. It has become your colleague. If your portfolio earns an average return of 10%, it is generating $50,000 a year in growth. That is likely as much as or more than what many people earn from their full-time jobs. This is the cloning effect. You now have a second version of yourself working silently in the background without the stress, the meetings, or the commute. The psychological impact of this is massive. You no longer feel trapped in a toxic workplace. You can negotiate for higher pay or take time off because you know your foundation is strong. Unexpected costs that used to feel like a crisis, such as a $5,000 home repair, now just feel like a minor fluctuation in your net worth. You have seen your account go up or down by that same amount in a single week. The scale of your perspective has permanently shifted. You are no longer playing defense. You are playing offense. But as powerful as $500,000 is, the final milestone of $1 million is where the math becomes truly mind-blowing. Many people think reaching $1 million is just about being able to buy luxury items. But true financial freedom is actually about the things you no longer have to care about. Once you have $1 million invested, a typical year of market growth can add $100,000 to your wealth. That is a six-figure paycheck for doing absolutely nothing. What took you 20 years to build in the beginning is now happening every single year. The compounding effect is no longer a slow crawl. It is a runaway train of progress. This is when you realize that your biggest asset is no longer your ability to work, but your patience and your capital. At this level, you stop obsessing over daily dips because you are thinking in decades, not days. You know that even if the market drops by 30%, your underlying system is still generating income and will eventually recover. You have zoomed out far enough to see the full picture. The real luxury of having $1 million is not the watch or the car. It is the total absence of financial stress. It is the ability to make choices based on what fulfills you rather than what pays the bills. You can take that vacation with your family, replace your car, or handle a medical situation with total calm. However, there is a reason why so few people ever reach this stage. Data shows that only about 2.6% of Americans have $1 million specifically set aside for retirement. The reason is not always a lack of income. It is because most people stop right before the momentum takes over. They get frustrated in the first stage when the growth feels slow, or they fall victim to lifestyle creep as soon as they reach the first 100,000. They buy the bigger house or the brand new car, effectively resetting their compounding clock. They treat their home equity as their only form of wealth, forgetting that you cannot use your kitchen cabinets to buy groceries in retirement. To reach these milestones in 2026, you must be willing to be different. You must be willing to drive the dependable used car while your neighbors sign 8-year loans for luxury SUVs. You must be willing to ignore the noise of the news and stay invested when everyone else is panicking. You have to understand that the first 100,000 is about effort, but the journey to $1 million is about temperament. If you can stay calm, stay consistent, and keep your expenses under control, the math will eventually do the rest for you. Wealth does not grow in a straight line. It bends upward. The closer you get to your goal, the faster the game moves. The second million will always come much faster than the first, but you have to stay in the game long enough to see the part where the story takes off. Financial peace is not a destination you reach by working harder. It is a state of mind you achieve by building a foundation that does not require your constant labor. Whether you are just starting with your first 1,000 or you are approaching the $500,000 mark, remember that every contribution is building momentum for your future self. You are not just saving money, you are buying your future freedom. You are ensuring that you will always be independent and you will never be a burden to those you love. That is the real purpose of investing. Before we conclude today, I want to remind you to share your thoughts in the comments. What is the biggest challenge you are facing in reaching your next financial milestone? Is it inflation, the cost of housing, or just the difficulty of staying disciplined? Let us start a conversation below so we can support each other in this journey. And if you found this analysis helpful, please share it with a friend who might be feeling stressed about their retirement. Sometimes, all someone needs is a bit of perspective and a clear map to find their way to peace of mind. Thank you for spending your time with me today. Keep your focus on the long term, stay patient, and remember that your tipping point is closer than it feels. I will see you in the next video as we continue to navigate the world of wealth and retirement in 2026. Stay safe, stay invested, and take care of your future.